Welcome back. Let's take you back to our top story. The 14th Gauteng ANC conference is delayed. The sitting is expected to elect the Provincial Executive Committee and debate some party policies. Now, 2 weeks ago, the top 5 in the province were elected, with Panyaza Lesufi emerging as chairperson. For the first time ever, the elective conference voted 3 women as office bearers. Joining us is political analyst Dr. Zamo Mbwandla. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. 2 weeks ago, the conference failed to conclude its business because of numerous problems like a court interdict and issues around bogus delegates. What can we expect this time around?
Thank you so much. Good evening, Paul, and good evening to the viewers at home. Thank you for inviting me. No, I think the ANC at this point, particularly in Gauteng, is starting to realize that doing things fast is not going to be a solution to the challenges that the ANC has and also the community has. So in other words, what I see in this conference, I believe that they will be able to resolve their issues, but it's not going to be as easy as members might want to see, because right now there are still issues of the quarantine vote. And remember, the quarantine vote is not going to be only affect the provincial outcome, but it's also going to affect the regional outcome of Ekurhuleni. So now they need to be very careful on how they deal with the issue. And currently, the quarantine vote, the members that are regarded as on the quarantine votes, they are also participating on the floor. But now, when they have to participate in the secret ballots, they are regarded as quarantine votes. So I think there's a double standard there. But again, it's very interesting now that the top 5 has already been elected. And if you look at the top 5, it's a combination of both slates that were contesting the provincial leadership. And we are yet to see whether the additional members of the provincial leadership will be a composite of both factions that are contesting the leadership. But what I've observed over the years in the process of electing leadership is that most members, particularly delegates, they focus mainly on electing the top 5. And when it comes to the additional members, they don't pay much attention to the additional members. And perhaps that could be a problem, because you find out that there's no succession plan, whereby they have a plan of who must take over in the leadership positions should those who are leading in the province take a leadership position in the national leadership. So I think that could be a problem. But if you look more at the composition of the top 5 at the moment, you can see that Ekurhuleni is the majority. And if they are the majority, you don't know what will happen in terms of the additional members that will be voted in. Should they agree on issues related to the quarantine vote? So we actually yet to see what will happen. Should they finish electing the additional members?
Yeah. The newly elected provincial chairperson, Panyaza Lesufi, has already spoken to some challenges around the ANC NEC, saying that they take time to make decisions, and as a result, members are becoming impatient. In fact, making the example of the outcome of the Ekurhuleni Regional Conference, which is still an issue as you and I speak. And he's spoken to how that outcome now warrants a reconfiguration of the NEC.
Yeah, you see, the major problem now at the moment is I think Ekurhuleni is a kingmaker in the conference, because remember the current provincial chairperson was a regional, the current regional provincial secretary was a regional secretary before he was elected to be the provincial secretary. So you see, that means that they do have that power, and I like the fact that you are saying members are getting impatient. I think members are getting impatient, but also the public at large, they are getting impatient about promises that are being made by the ANC. So now, if the ANC is not able to resolve their own internal issues, so the public as well is not able to tolerate or to wait any longer. And I'm glad you are saying the current chair, because the current chair, if you look at how he performed in government, you can say at least the public is able to relate with what he's doing, and he have a public support. We don't know about the ANC, but in the public, he's seen as the person who have done extremely well in the department where he served as the MEC. But again, we cannot say because he have raised those issues. Therefore, the NEC will definitely deal with issues of the complaints that are made by members of the ANC in Gauteng province and also in the regions. So we can't be sure of that.
And perhaps in a separate matter, in our news just in this evening, Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula has declined the DA's proposal for the National Assembly to set up an ad hoc committee to probe the Phala farm robbery. Does it come as a surprise?
For me, Paul, it's not a surprise at all, because, you know, all political parties have structures and they have leadership. So there is no political party that will want to be seen as a weak political party that is instructed by an opposition or a different political party. Even if members of the ANC, particularly those who are in parliament, might see that there is a need for the ad hoc committee, but the fact that this issue has been raised by the opposition party, they will not agree to that. So in other words, the ANC as a political party have its own internal processes. So they cannot just decide because a political party or an opposition party have raised a concern, because that means that they'll have to agree with everything that the political or the opposition party is saying. So that is why at this point, the ANC is still dealing with the matter internally. And once they finalize the issue, then they will speak to the president internally as the political party, not as government. Then they will decide on that, and whether they agree, whether the charges must be laid or whatever decision that they take, but everything will be taken internally in the political party, and then the parliament will be informed. So I don't think, I'm not surprised at all, because any political party was going to take the same position.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Zamo Mbwandla, a political analyst there, weighing in on some of the pressing matters, of course, speaking to the Phala issue right now.